Hail to the king, baby.
Howdy guys, it's Michael B, and I apologize if I just blew out your speakers with that howdy. It's Monday, you know what that means. Time for another episode of Chill and Chat with Michael B. And for all those people, mainly P-dubs, who keep saying this show is just a rerun, tonight we got some new news, some breaking news, some industry behind the scene news that you might be excited about, you might not be excited about. We'll see, as well as we're going to be talking about Toy Fair, and we're going to look at the real question about basic fun and the Arcade1Up and Arcade Classics lineup going forward. What are they going to focus on? Are they going to do remakes of cabs we have already seen, or are they going to focus primarily on new titles? We'll talk about why they should do each and talk about the complications with doing that. It should be a hell of a show. Hopefully you enjoy it. And I've got a surprise special guest that you're all dying to see. Trust me. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for being here. Welcome to Chill and Chat with Michael B. Well, guys, this should be an absolutely awesome show. The first thing I want to talk about is a friend of mine by the name of 19K Fox, and he has now set the bar so high for live streaming, we may never, ever come back from it again. If anybody has had the opportunity so far to check out 19K Fox, last night was an absolute banner show as 19K Fox decided to stream after watching 2 football games while drinking, and then proceeded to give one of the most insane but yet heartfelt speeches I have ever heard about home arcade. Now, I've got message after message today regarding 19K Fox. How is he feeling? Did he get to work? What's going on? Well, the easiest way to answer all those questions is to invite the man onto the show himself. 19K Fox, how the heck are you feeling, brother?
The reports of my breath have been greatly exaggerated. I wasn't intoxicated at all. I don't know why this rumor is going around. I had an audio glitch with StreamYards that slowed everything down.
That's what it was.
I was running at like half speed. You guys are crazy. Surprisingly, the guy that drinks bourbon on his show got toasted.
What happened, buddy? Like, I'm guessing you watched both the football games back to back and had a couple beverages with those.
Oh, absolutely. So yeah, so the games are on. I'm like, this is the NFC AFC championship. We're gonna push my show back so everybody can see the game. I wanted to see the games, and a few beverages were partaken of by myself, and then I sat down. Everything was fine. I even had the cool little heartfelt little Shiloh tribute at the very beginning of my show, and for some reason that drink was just a little bit too stout. So yeah.
So the big thing with your show is you usually finish one drink, and then when you finish it, that's a wrap and that's time to cut it out. Mm-hmm. And then sometimes you'll do like the Super Chat Goal second pour. Can I ask you a question? How many drinks did you have before you even started? What pour were we on?
Great question. All good questions. And not all questions have answers that could be recalled at this time. I think I had I was actually going light. I was only I had like I was doing Captain Morgan and like fruit juice,
Yeah.
and they were tall glasses, and so just having a ball, watching the games. I was into both of them. I wanted the Broncos to win. That didn't happen. I wanted Seattle to win. They won. So it was great. It was a ton of fun. And I was rocking, man. Had all the show prep set up, ready to go. I did that at the halftime of the first game. So I was just good.
Yeah.
A little too good, evidently. So, yeah.
I'm pretty disappointed with the way football went this season. Like, it's a pretty blah final for me. Like, I think at this point, I'm rooting for the Hawks. That's for you, Nooner. So go Seahawks. I think I might have joined on the James bandwagon and supported the Broncos a little bit if Bo Nix never got hurt. I can't support the Patriots after 6 Super Bowl championships. Like, I you know what? Time for you guys to take a break and let somebody else win.
I guess you got to admire excellence, and that franchise, that organization, their dedication to excellence. I mean, it's unmatched, and so I guess there is that. But yeah, I definitely don't want them to win.
No, you're right. It's just I like the fact that what team has won the most Super Bowls?
The Patriots.
Patriots. Now they're not the only one with 6, right?
No, the Steelers also have 6.
Steelers also have 6.
Yeah.
So my favorite trivia question is, how many Super Bowls does Tom Brady have?
7, right?
An individual player has more championships than any team in NFL history. I love that. So I kind of don't want them to win, right?
Yeah, I mean that's kind of wild. It's I don't know. I don't really. At the end of the day, like unless it's your team going, I kind of pull back some and I don't get too emotional. But yeah, I don't want the money to win. I want the talent to win. I want and you get the young kid coming in. He's 23. The quarterback is just nuts. Yeah. So it'd be kind of cool to have him, win. But I don't know. I really want to see Seahawks. I think they're just a better team.
Overall, I think they're built better, and I'm rooting for Nooner. It's hard not to root for Nooner. I don't know many people that are Pats fans, and they're all horrible people, obviously.
Of course they are. Every single one. And it's like coffee tonight, Mike.
Yeah, coffee tonight. Good call. So 19K Fox, a lot of people want to know the answer to this question, too. Did you make it into work today?
Yeah, because I was working from home. that was good. They closed the office because of the snow. I was going to work from home on Monday anyway. I have travel to do this week. So, I knew I was in the clear. I was good. So
you took care. You took every precaution there.
Every precaution was taken. I don't recommend it, and it really wasn't my intent. But when you're partying, sometimes these things happen.
My favorite thing was how you kept going, and now on to the next topic. And I'm like, how many goddamn topics are there?
I didn't even close the show right. I was just mumbling and I didn't read the poll. I didn't do I just.
You read the poll, buddy. You didn't read it very well, but you read it. Jason says there were 75 topics last night. On to the next topic.
How many? I think I went for 2 hours too. It was no self-control.
I did as much work because you knew I was doing like bank recs last night. I had to do my job, and I barely finished that today in time to get ready for this. So I was doing my job, and I came down and I was like, I'm just going to grind a little bit in Octopath Traveler 0, build up a couple levels, and then I'll go to bed. But then, of course, I saw you notification that you came on, and I was like, oh, my God. So I watched, and I had you on while I was grinding, but then I couldn't pull myself away from watching you. And then 2 hours went by, and I got to go to bed. Like, I can't.
It's
can't
like
do
train
this
wreck.
anymore.
You just can't turn away from.
Really quickly, Mike, no, you didn't miss. I started doing my monitor upgrade and catastrophe happened. So I'm in the process right now. My monitor from Buy Stuff, I did the upgrade. It didn't work. I ended up putting my PCB back on my old screen. It works, but like there's all this glitching and stuff like that. So I reached out to Basic Fun. I think there's a problem with the PCB. So I can't do the monitor upgrade. Like the broken PCB won't work on the new screen. So Buy Stuff is sending me a riser, and they're also going to send me like a new backlight board and see if that fixes it. And I've got a new PCB coming for Star Wars as well. So as soon as that's done, I'm going to get it done. Apparently, I am not a modding god because everything in the world has broke and gone wrong this past week. So I apologize. 19K Fox, I am super glad you're here because we actually got some fun stuff to talk about tonight. And I think people are really going to enjoy it. For the last little while, we've been talking about, me and you have a similar habit. Like people, saw someone get mad at you earlier when I put up that Randy Leahy picture. They were like, 19K Fox has moved on from the hobby. He doesn't like this stuff anymore. Why does he complain about it? No. We haven't moved on. It's just there hasn't been anything worth buying for a while. Yeah. And we want desperately to buy something. We want something to be excited about. We want, Basic Fun, Arcade1Up, one of these companies to come out with something that's so cool. We want to add it to our collection. And I know you've been very adamant about the things you want. I've been very adamant about the things I want. I probably come off as very judgmental towards Basic Fun. And I don't want people to think that. This is a company I absolutely want to support. It meant a lot to me, especially after making some videos where I was kind of going after them about like what they were doing with WrestleFest, that they reached out to me and still wanted to send me a product, and they were proud of what they did and they wanted to get shit done, right? So it made me want to support that company and help, not help them, but see them succeed. And I've been trying to push mainly for what I want, but I'm trying to give advice on what they want, but I'll go a little lighter tonight for the people that think I hate them, because that absolutely isn't the truth. We got good news to talk about, mainly because we've got products that are coming out maybe next week. As soon as next week, new products from Basic Fun. Does that get your jimmies in a rustle?
I don't know what that means, but yeah, I'm excited. I like to see what these companies are doing. I mean, and I think I understand the sentiment of the person that criticized me. Like, oh, he's not collecting the 3/4 scale like he used to. And that's true. I've kind of lost the excitement for that size because there's nothing really new kind of coming out that I'm into. But I'm excited every time something new does come out. And if it's cool, I'll get it. I don't care. I have room in the arcade, review it, check it out, let people know what I think. It's there's still a lot of excitement to be had. It's just just been kind of stale.
Yeah, I think the thing that people need to remember is there's specific things that we want. Like me and you right now probably wouldn't have strayed so far off the path if Arcade1Up had actually done kind of what we were led to believe they were going to do. Like, I mean, me and you very stupidly stole their Star Wars cabs because we were told there was a Star Wars XL coming out. Yeah. So I think both of us are still in the same category where we're waiting for somebody to release a Star Wars XL, and a good one. I mean, hell, like, you've seen my review of the Star Wars Return of the Jedi cab. You still considered it. You were like, I'm still thinking about it because you wanted Star Wars back. So I think it's a bit of an unfair statement, and it's a bit of one of those opinions that just come up from people that just want to be negative. I don't know.
Well, and sometimes people don't want to put a bunch of thought into it because it's just a hobby, right? So they just assume, okay, well, he doesn't like it and he does. And so it's just black and white to most people. And I get it. That's fine. And none of that ever bothers me. I've had a few people that actually reach out and they were upset, but they reached out, emailed me. We had a great back and forth. At the end of the day, that person didn't necessarily agree with me, but it was like, hey, I'm going to resubscribe. I'm, thanks for taking the time to talk to me. And I'm always willing to have those discussions. But then some people just, they just want to put you in a box and go on.
Damn Pats fan. Look at this. MG.
It's a horrible person.
So anyways, moving into the first topic, Fox, I took this from you. My man. I got slides. Now let's see if we can make us look prettier. But I've got slides. I'll leave it like this for now because it's two of us. So I put this in my thumbnail tonight because I actually have information that we're at least getting one, if not two, new Basic Fun Arcade Classics cabs within the next week or so. I'm guessing, based on the time estimate I was given last week, that it's going to be next week. So we'll see. So two in the thumbnail. I don't think I hid them very well. Like, if you guys can't tell what they are, you may need to check your prescriptions. So what are they? As many as 2 arcades are coming within the next week. I have one confirmation of a Supreme / XL that is definitively coming. I also heard from a YouTuber that was contacted from Basic Fun about a review unit that leads me to believe a second one is coming, but it might still be the first. And the question is, are either of these arcades previously shown? Now, Fox, you look at this picture. Don't say them, but I'm pretty sure you can guess what these possibly are.
Yeah, you should have used a little more blur, but yeah,
I actually had people write me and they're like, what are the new cabs? And I'm like, dude, for real? Like, seriously? All right, so let's go with the first one, and this is the easiest one to kind of cover, and that is WrestleFest XL, WrestleFest Supreme. So I want to go back a couple weeks ago. We did report that a WrestleFest Supreme or WrestleFest XL cab did show up on Marketplace and was available for sale. And we were questioning whether or not it was a prototype. What the hell was it? It turns out it was a review unit because another YouTuber by the name of the Cornercade actually reached out to the guy and talked to him. Hello, Arcade1Up official. Good to see you back on the YouTubes, and thanks for being here. So anyways, this YouTuber apparently, the Cornercade reached out to this guy, asked some questions, found out he was a reviewer, which is the wildest thing in the world, because how do you sell a review unit that was sent to you before embargo? Like, what goes through your head and convinces you to do this?
Just wanted money. I mean, probably not. I mean, we're not all created equal. Yeah, most of us that do this aren't the sharpest knives in the drawer. Myself included in that. No, that was a bold move, Cotton. Let's see if it's going to pay off.
Yeah. So I don't know everything that's happening with that, but I did find out it was actually our friend in the community, Neo, Paul Mindeman, actually did get some confirmation apparently from Basic Fun that this person was sent this cab for review. They did not give him permission to sell it, and the cab is going to be coming out in the next couple of weeks. So this was about a week ago, I heard, which leads me to believe it's possibly coming out as early as next week. So this is one, it looks like we can confirm is coming out. The review cab confirms it, and then also the back-end confirmation from Basic Fun to Neo, basically telling them, kind of what happened. It's a review cab. It's coming out in a couple of weeks, and you can see it on, there's a couple of reviews coming out for it. So, yeah, WrestleFest XL is coming out. Review cab was on Marketplace. The good thing about it is, obviously, WWE is a very established brand. People are going to walk into club stores, Sam's Club, Costco, see WWE, and not everybody is as in tune with us, know about like maybe some of the issues with the rosters. I think this could be a very big, success for them. The only question is, are there any changes? And of course, the reviewer didn't really talk about that too much.
Did we confirm? Is it a touchscreen, or was the person just touching the screen?
Someone, I'm trying to remember who it was now. I think it was Robert Stout. I might be wrong. Put up the post and they said, why is he touching the screen? Is it a touch screen? But it wasn't a touch screen. He was just touching the screen. The person assumed it was a touch screen, right?
Yeah, I didn't see the screen react to his hand, but I was like, if that's truly a feature, what a ridiculous addition.
Yeah.
So yes, we got Supreme version of the Ultra.
Well, we don't know, because we know a demo version came in to sell to stores, and it was listed as an XL. So we don't know what Arcade Classics is going to call these going forward. Yeah. It's best to assume it's just Supreme, right? Mm-hmm. Really quickly, $5 super chat, $4.99 from David G. This is actually a message for you, Foxy Cleopatra. Sup, guys? Great stream last night, Fox. Very entertaining. Damn it, another Pats fan. Thank you very much, David G, for the super chat.
David's
greatly appreciated. I don't want the Pats to win. I'm sorry, dude. I don't know. I think this could be really super successful for Basic Fun. I hope it's a winner for them and stuff like that. I asked the question, did they do any changes with the roster, or is it the same thing? It obviously looks great. I can't wait to see when it comes out next week or in the next coming weeks. How much it's going to be, we'll find out very soon, apparently.
Yeah, I think many people have made this point before. I'll just make it again. It reminds me of Killer Instinct, the whole debacle. You came out with a smaller, cheaper version, right? And before that actually came out, you announced the Pro. So there was a lot of confusion there. It messed up the sales of the original cabinet, the small cabinet. In this way, it's sort of working in the reverse. You came out with the cheapest version we found all the flaws, and now you're going to try to come out with a more expensive version. I don't know. I don't know how this is going to land. I think the biggest thing is going to be, like you said, the alterations to the ROM, the fact that the game is a little bit different. Everything else looks great on it, and the price. Are we going to have a $6.99 cab? I don't know how well that's going to go over.
Well, you know, I think what did the Arcade1Up XLs go for in the club stores? It was $5.99 in the US, right? $8.99 here in Canada. Yeah. So I think there's a possibility it could be more. I would say anywhere between $5.99 and $6.99, could be $6.49, because we know because of the tariff situation they had to raise prices somewhat.
Right.
I don't have so much of a problem with that. I mean, you're buying iconic arcades at $6.99. These prices have gone up year over year. I think it's just, it is what it is. So will it be successful without any alterations to the ROM? Again, you know, hardcore fans, people that watch this stuff all the time, they're probably savvy to that, smart to that. Random person walking in Costco that's never watched me, you, anybody else in the space comes across this and goes, WrestleFest, holy shit.
That's incredible. It's it's a good looking cab. The proportions look a lot better.
It's great looking.
And if you're gonna want a, you know, a 4-player cabinet, this is obviously, you know, the way to go. I think you're gonna get the most for your money when it comes to this cabinet. And it's really just going to be, I think the biggest thing is going to be, have the negatives from the Ultra negatively impacted the Supreme. I think it's possible. But there's also that contingency that there's a portion of the audience out there that has been waiting for this version.
Yeah.
They saw the Ultra. They were like, okay, I'm fine with it. I mean, we saw some of this with some of the Arcade1Ups, T2 having issues, Blitz most notably having players not on the roster, and then late hits, the absence of that and all that. People still bought it and enjoyed it. So I think that there's some people that were probably waiting for this. They've accepted the issues, and there's some people that are not going to buy it because of the issues. So it'll be interesting to see how it shakes out.
J-Pace, we don't know that. Our hope is that either the review unit they sent out to this guy, I can't remember the publication, it's like Bazaar or something, or if they, you know, sent it out to another YouTuber, hopefully they'll be smart enough to identify whether or not there's, you know, those issues with the ROM. They'll know enough about it. They won't be just general people, but we'll see. I mean, I had a real struggle with this because you guys know over Christmas, the WrestleFest cab, the Ultra cab, was here on sale in Canada for $4.99 Canadian. It was on for like, I think that works out to with exchange $3.60 Canadian. So like ridiculous deal, right? And I really struggled because I was like, you know, I could buy this. It's got a BOE monitor. I could either put a Pi in it, or I could get the buy stuff mod and just put the wrestlers in there. And what held me off was the hope that, yes, the Supreme will eventually come out, because I would much rather have that cab. That's more representative of what I would want to see, right? So I don't know. It's so tough, Fox. Like, you know, knowing how easy it is to fix these, but I also don't advocate for buying a cab full price that you have to mod to get it to where you want. I don't know what the answer it is, right?
Well, the answer is going to be reasonable expectations. You know, I've always called these compromise machines. You know, they're devices that aren't going to be a one-to-one recreation. What are you willing to accept? I still stand by that statement. If you're okay with the ROM, if you're okay with the size and this and that and some of the missing things, you know, then if you enjoy it, if you want it, go get it, you know. But I think our job is to check these things out, make everybody aware of those issues. And then at the end of the day, you have to make your own decision. A lot of people are going to buy it with the intention to mod it. Because they like the size, they like the shape, they don't want to change the artwork or anything. They just want to get it and maybe mod it, and they'll be happy, you know. Because one of the biggest barriers of this whole hobby is starting with a cabinet, and a lot of people can't just build something from scratch, you know. So that could be the main driver, the main reason why people will go for this.
I did want to go back to your comment where you said earlier, this reminds me so much of Killer Instinct, where they put out the 3/4 and then they did the larger. Yeah. But didn't both me and you both say, hey, man, we love these XL cabs. Why can't they just offer them in both 3/4 and XL? So you're saying this is what we wanted, but it's also a mistake.
Well, that was a mistake to do in that direction, right? This is only a mistake because of the mistakes that were made with the Ultra. Now, if the Ultra had come out and the ROM was good, you know, okay, the ROM's good, okay. And let's say the the deck protector was in place, right? But it was still a 2-player and it was smaller and all these things, right? Then I think it would be, yeah, probably a pretty good deal because we sort of know the risk. We know the disadvantages of the Ultra. If all of those were going to be addressed with the Supreme, hell yeah. So if I don't mind spending another $100, 150, whatever it's going to be, I'll go for the Supreme, knowing that the core is still good. If you look at the Killer Instinct cap, that played pretty well. I don't think many people had issues with the way that those games played on that device. So that wasn't the issue. The issue was the cannibalizing of their own sales, announcing these things at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, I like the fact that they're offering options like the pro
Sure.
version, and I could say that, but at the same time, right from the start, I was okay with them offering XL and 3/4 versions of these. It's what we wanted. I think they should continue them. I don't think it cannibalizes sales. I think the intention is to meet as many audiences as possible, right? So I don't think it's a problem. Killer Instinct was fantastic, both on the 3/4 scale and the XL scale. The only problem really with Killer Instinct in the pro scale is price point, man. I love
damn
that
expensive.
cab, like absolutely
Yeah.
love that cab, but it's just not worth the price. Like if it wasn't for the fact that Arcade1Up had a glitch on their website and I got like basically free shipping, I wouldn't have bought it. And then of course you get it, and the controls, the sticks aren't really competition grade. They're better, but they're not what they should have been, right? So
Right.
yeah. Anyways, WrestleFest is apparently coming out relatively soon. We're finally going to see the Supreme version. Not a huge surprise. We kind of knew it was coming, but now we do have, some form of confirmation behind the scenes. So, what about the other cab, if there is one? So, I want to
What could it
bring
be?
this suggestion up for anybody who didn't see this coming. I think we're getting a TMT Ultra. Now, I know the first people are going to ask, I'm going to jump into this right away. Do they have the arcade games? So, if you look at the screen in this picture, if you've ever seen this picture before, the very first 2 games are Turtles and Turtles in Time. And everybody's assuming because of that box for the Slim Edition they've seen that those are console games only. I can openly tell you that right here, this is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the arcade game. That's Turtles in Time, the arcade game. Everything else is NES games. Here's where they differentiate, because same Turtles logo as Turtles the arcade game, but it says NES underneath. And then Turtles 2, Turtles the arcade game, is listed as the arcade game. I do think they have the arcade ROMs. I do think that this is the next cab coming out. That's my best guess. I don't have 100% confirmation, but here's why I think this is the next cab coming out. We obviously know they already have an Ultra prototype ready. This is something they were already ready to move on. TMNT, much like WWE, super established brand, easy to get into retailers' hands. It's something that's well known throughout the community. The information that I do have is Basic Fun have contacted at least one YouTuber, not me, maybe more, basically not confirming that it was Turtles or not confirming that it wasn't the Supreme WrestleFest cab, but basically saying, we have something new coming out in the next couple of weeks. Would you be interested in looking at it? And there's other stuff I can't really comment on that YouTuber, but there's a reason I don't think they would have sent him the WrestleFest cab.
I think we got that figured out. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, obviously, I think those ROMs are not hard to emulate. It's not like they're crazy. It's going to push the hardware. So I'm pretty confident those are going to be arcade ROMs. And it's, I'm of a couple different minds of this. I don't like console games on my arcade recreation, but if you're going to have them on there as a bonus, it's fine. It doesn't bother me that much. That wouldn't be the reason I would buy it though. And having an Ultra, it's I think this is something where they could have probably just led with the Supreme with Turtles, because
you do both, Fox. We just talked about this.
Eventually.
No, you just do both right from the start.
Yeah, well, no, I'm not saying that they couldn't do both. I'm saying that they could, if they were going to lead with one, they could have just led with the Supreme and then later on offer the Ultra. They could just sort of reverse the process that they did with the WrestleFest, because I think that this is something that people are going to be clamoring for. It's like Star Wars, right? It's one of those brands that everybody loves. It's got some real fanatical fans that will definitely love. I mean, the fact that it's a 2-player control panel, it makes a big difference. That's going to fit in so many people's arcades. That's something that we were complaining about back in the Arcade1Up days.
Yeah.
I guess it's still the Arcade1Up days. They're not actually totally dead yet.
Well, they're not dead at all. I mean, Arcade Classics bought everything, which is a brilliant thing, which is why we're going to talk about it later. But, and the only thing I'm hoping with this, I've got to go back to that mic from last week. I'm hoping they raise the artwork up to make it more relatable to the original arcade. You can see there, agree. Like I obviously they pushed everything down to the bottom, which is what they're doing with a lot of these arcades. I'd like to see them raise the artwork up, maybe expand it a little bit. I think I know why. It's due to scale. And if you look at the two turtles across the bottom, the most important thing is making sure neither of them are cut off. So I think that's why that's done. I'm not 100% sure, but I would love to see a more, accurate artwork to the original in terms of scale and how it fits on the cab. There's got to be a way to do it, but this is what I'm interested in. But I'm going to be honest with you. I want the 4-player deck. I want a 4-player Turtles. So I would pass on the Ultra, and I think it's really cool. I think a lot of people would love to have a 2-player Turtles because it wouldn't take up as much space as the old 4-player Turtles that Arcade1Up had. A lot of people are fixated on that. So 2-player control decks aren't necessarily a bad thing. But for me specifically, I want to recreate that Turtles cab I played when I was a kid. So I want the 4-player one. So really hoping this eventually comes in a Supreme.
And definitely, it's going to be more of an XL form factor, bigger size. That's what we really wanted. I cannot, for the life of me, still, I don't know if it was a licensing thing or whatever, why we never got an XL Turtles from Arcade1Up. I mean, that's just one of those things that's just automatic. But you can say the same thing about Star Wars, too. So
you can say so many different cabs from Arcade1Up. Why didn't they do XL? I think the limitations with XL, and, I'm going to give Spreetail some credit here because Spreetail have already said they're going to come out and they're going to buy some and make them retail available, which means they're going to be the seller and it's going to be available through certain stores. But one of the problems with XL was finding retail partners that were willing to take them, or it could have been, for club stores, they always look for exclusivity and something special, reason for you to get it at a club store as opposed to other stores. So maybe it was used as a sales tactic, negotiation tactic to get it into the club stores that this will be exclusive to club stores. I don't know 100% know, but whatever the reason is, we got screwed on the XLs, okay? They screw you on the XLs.
That's exactly what they do.
Yeah, so
and hopefully that won't be the case here.
I think it's going to be Turtles. The other thing I'll say about it, like everybody's like, oh man, like I wish they didn't have the console games on them. 2 years ago, when a leaked Arcade1Up list for cabs that were supposed to come out in 2024, I think it was, one of the cabs was listed as Turtles, the Cowabunga collection. Everybody was like, that's awesome. Well, I got some bad news for you guys about the Turtles Cowabunga collection. It has console games on it.
And handheld games and all that stuff.
Yeah. So, I don't really have a problem with this. I'm just really hoping, obviously, that I miss my Turtles cab. I think you do too. I know a lot of people have talked about it. They sold their original Turtles cab.
No, I still have mine.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
Yeah, I still have my original. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, but I mean, that cab is one of the reasons why I got so heavy into Arcade1Up back in the day. It's just recreating that love and nostalgia of this arcade game that I played so much and was such a big part of me getting into the arcades in the first place. So, that and WrestleFest are probably my 1-2 as the big arcade games that brought me into the arcades. So, I'd love to have both of them in my basement, Supreme versions that truly, as much as they can, capture what the real arcades were like.
And if they can learn, and I haven't seen this yet, if they can learn from what some of the mistakes were with Arcade1Up and really really dodge some bullets that you could plainly see, go with Konami cabs, but don't add a bunch of stuff that don't make sense. If a Simpsons cab came out for basic fun and it didn't have Simpsons bowling, would you be interested?
James, thank you. I would love to know who your source was on that, because I know there was a lot of information put out about Basic Fun's negotiation for the Turtles license around the same time other people were trying really hard to either get Turtles or the Konami license. So it's a little bit tough to tell all the information that went out there because, you know, there might have been some sabotage going on.
No, that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't sound.
No, not at all.
but if a Simpsons cab came out without bowling, would you be interested in that?
Oh, 100%.
Absolutely.
That was my biggest problem with the Simpsons cab is that horrible bowling game.
Bowling. Yeah, absolutely. We know our GT85 wasn't happy about that either.
No, and I had the exact same problem our GT85 had. I love the Simpsons. I'm a staunch Homer player, and they ruined his controls. Like it was unplayable almost to play as Homer. And I would have been fine with a one game cab. Like all I really gave a shit about was the Simpsons. Now it would have been amazing if they took some other Konami beat 'em ups on there and Metamorphic Force, friggin' Sunset Riders, something like that, and threw it on there. If they couldn't, one game would have been fine for me.
Absolutely. I think you don't need to butcher the experience by adding a feature that maybe nobody's actually, asking for. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just put it out there.
Burnt Orange Arcade. I think you're right. The way they pack the XLs now, they could get by because it's not really that bigger than the deluxe cabs. But the problem with the XL cabs, from what I understand, is actually the price point. That's why a lot of the stores are a little gun shy. So, anyways, I'll take that one down, Foxy, and just from there, what do you think of that? If these are the next two cabs to come out, I mean, not huge surprises, but it's just nice to see things moving again.
Turtles is not a new cab, but it's a highly requested cab. It's something I think a lot of people want. So not surprising. We've seen some of these images before, but it makes sense. I'm not mad at that. I'm pretty sure the emulation is going to be good. I don't know if they're going to have the original song or not. I don't know if that's going to happen. But other than that, I think that's fine. I'm still kind of on the fit. Go ahead.
No. You keep going, but I got something for that in a little bit.
Oh, he's got something for that. So
I got something for that in a little bit.
In a little bit. I still, I'm really on the fence about the whole WrestleFest Cab Supreme version. If they could fix the ROM, which is probably the bigger issue, is that gonna? I mean, I think if they were to fix the ROM, I think it would do nothing but help, and it would be an absolute plus in the overall sales of the cabinet. If they don't fix it, I'm not sure what the hit is that cab's going to take. If you couple that with a higher price point, I just don't know. I'm of two minds of that for sure. But I think there's certain games that are just going to be rock solid. Star Wars, Turtles. I think even X-Men. Konami or Capcom beat 'em ups. Capcom fighters tend to do really well, throw a little Mortal Kombat in there. These things are solid. They're staples. I'm interested in something brand new, completely different. WrestleFest was that first sort of foray into that. They kind of goofed it a little bit. Let's see if they can come up with something next that's going to be different and accurate.
All right, we're on to the next topic.
And there we go. Oh, yeah.
All right. So anyways, we'll see. Hopefully within the next week, this stuff will come out, whether it's just going to be WrestleFest or whether it's WrestleFest and another cab and, more than likely Turtles. Hopefully that's something exciting for the community and people will get a little bit more hyped up because it's been a dry January, friends, a dry January.
Yeah.
But I want to move on now and talk about February because February could possibly be a very interesting time in the home arcade recreation community. We've got the new toy fair coming up February 14th to 17th. And this is the time period last year when Basic Fun made their big announcement about their arcade cabs. This is when the Irate Gamer went to the New York Toy Fair. There was the Basic Fun booth with the secret room where he got in to go look at all the arcades. Do you think Basic Fun, who didn't do anything during E3 or CES, this is the time where if they have something new, they're going to show it, and we might get a look at what the lineup for 2026 is going to be?
I hope so. I think there's obviously the potential there. They've sort of released everything that they were teasing, I think, for the most part. So this would be the time to kind of get the second line, the second generation, of these cabinets out there. Get some eyes on. I don't know. I mean, how committed are they to secrecy? Because people are going to be looking, people are going to be watching. And if you come out with something physical, somebody's going to sneak a picture out of there. So, but it would be an exciting time. if they made some announcement and talked about something, and maybe they were vague about it, and we could speculate, make all those videos. That's a lot of fun. Heaven forbid, actually just announce what you're going to come out with.
Well, I'm super excited. I mean, I'm looking forward to the first time in a while now, this hope of like a new lineup, new titles coming out, lots of new things happening. But the question is, which way are Basic Fun going to go with, Arcade1Up or Arcade Classics, whatever they're going to go with? Because we don't have clarification. We know Arcade1Up is going to continue. Are they going to continue Arcade Classics too? That we'll find out. I can't throw an idea out there. I can't tell you what they're going to do. We'll find out in a little while. But the question is, where are they going to focus? For the longest while, with Arcade1Up, we've been getting a lot of remakes and a lot of the same remakes. Focus on Pac-Man, a focus on Class of 81, a focus on Mortal Kombat, NBA Jam, and Big Buck Hunter. We got lucky. There was some other stuff brought in there and some first-time deluxes as well. With Terminator 2, I don't think there was really anything else. But, that's kind of what we've been eating for the last 2 years, ever since Time Crisis, right? They did do more Fast and the Furious cabs as well, so got to give them credit there. So the question
thank goodness for that.
What are Basic Fun going to do going forward? Is the focus going to be on remakes, or is the focus going to be on new games and new titles that we have never seen released in this space before? That's the question. And the first one I want to bring up is I want to talk about remakes and talk about, while people might not be super excited to see that word, it's not necessarily a bad thing, because you look at it from an Arcade Classic standpoint. There's a lot of games Arcade1Up released over the years that it just makes so much sense for Arcade Classics or Arcade1Up to do new versions of. So here's some of the positives behind that. We just talked about Turtles, and we said, man, I hope the emulation is good. Well, Basic Fun bought Arcade1Up. You know what Arcade1Up already did? They emulated Turtles, and they did a pretty good job of it, especially with their Turtles in Time cab. Then on top of that, Turtles in Time and Arcade1Up already has an existing online infrastructure. So people are saying, I want Turtles, but I want online. Then we'll go a little bit further. They already have existing design schematics. Now, I'm not just talking about artwork. I'm also talking about there's a certain thing that's done, like when you're building a cab, and I can't remember what the name for it is. Fox, you might know it. It's like a mold or whatever it is. Do you know what I'm talking about?
You mean like the golden sample, or are you talking about?
No, not just the golden sample, but when they actually do the side art and stuff like that, there's like a mold. Yeah. It's got to be done.
You've got a pattern. You've got all that stuff mocked up. Tooling. We have to tool up to design something.
So I mean, that's,
and a lot of this stuff is just like computer files. It's just digital. All they have to do is just email you or put it on a thumb drive or put it in a Dropbox. And as long as you have a CNC machine or computer controlled router, I mean, you can just cut all these panels yourself.
So the good thing about remakes, not necessarily, more of what we've been seeing over the course of the last couple of years, but say, for example, not Arcade1Up, but Basic Fun wanted to do a Mortal Kombat cab. They have everything they need already in order just to do one, right? And then, of course, make it a little bit larger. You can do an XL. There's some speculation that might be the XL cab that, Spreetail has possibly bought and moving it forward. One other thing I want to talk about is the existing library games. We don't know about all the licenses, but you got to think about all the other cabs they've already done with emulation and stuff like that. So a lot of these cabs that we go back and look at, and we're like, man, I would love to see another this. I would love to see another that, but done in deluxe form factor. Arcade1Up already has all that information ready to go, and now Basic Fun has all that stuff as well. So you've got an existing library of games that are already built. Some cabs where we've never had a deluxe or supreme before, like a Golden Axe. Maybe they could do a Golden Axe. I put down on the bottom older cabs, and this is what really gets me excited, the idea of seeing a Final Fight Deluxe or a Rampage Deluxe or a Burger Time Deluxe, something along those lines. So, as much as remakes might scare some people off because it's been a word we've heard so much in the home arcade space, could actually be a really good thing and allow, these guys to ramp up really quickly and put a lot of titles out there.
Well, exactly. And then control schemes that are not just you know, for the marquee, well, I mean, it's going to be for the marquee game, but when you're talking about these deluxes here, there's 14 games, but they're all going to be, the controls are going to be set up for Mortal Kombat. So it's not going to be necessarily ideal. If you're going to play Rampage, you're going to be stuck with a 2-player version. Go back, revisit some of these cabinets. That original Rampage was a 3-player, but use the 4-player deck, spread those things out, give people some room. I think I mean, I actually built one of those, just swapping parts from a TMNT cabinet, and it was so nice to play on that larger deck with those 3 players. Of course, Alien versus Predator would never happen, but that'd be another example of a 3-player game.
Well,
it would be just a ton of fun.
Never say never, Fox. This is something that Arcade1Up was very keen on doing a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, who knows? I know one of the big problems with Arcade1Up is I don't think the licensing worked out, and I don't know if it's sold well with retailers, because I know they brought it to retailers and they're showcasing it. So can't answer you on that. Really good question from Mike of All Trades here. The better question is, if the upcoming TMNT cabinet or related cabs have online capabilities, would it work with the current Arcade1Up lineup of cabinets, or would it be its own ecosystem? I can see absolutely no reason why it wouldn't already work with the existing Arcade1Up ecosystem. I mean, they bought it. Why not?
Yeah, they bought it. Exactly.
Yeah.
So does that still exist? Would these work with that? I would imagine so. It's all the same thing.
Yeah. 4.99 super chat from Vic Vicious here. Re-releases are good if form factors are correct and the second time around.
Yes.
I 100% agree with that. Like, I start getting excited thinking about the concept of a Burger Time cab. Like, we talked about this a little while ago. There was rumors about Burger Time Deluxe coming out about 1.5 years ago. I mean, I miss my Burger Time cab, but I would love to see a Burger Time that's done more arcade accurate. Like, the first one was still with that shark fin, and then they modified the shark fin slightly. But imagine it with the actual accurate cab form factor, like, you know, kind of like that Miss Pac-Man, Galaga cab, but except with the top done that right way. Then instead of having like it set up for the control panel to play Karate Champ, have it actually set up to play Burger Time. Oh man, so good. So good. You could do so much with it. Like, that would be, for me, just like an absolute winner.
But with some of the leadership from Arcade1Up going over there and maybe running the division or running Arcade Classics, whatever they're going to call this, are you worried about the decision making? Some of that is still going to, some of that's going to transfer over. I'm not saying that Cyrus is going to be running the show and doing exactly what he did before, but that influence is going to be there. I'm curious. I'm really curious what this next wave of basic fun cabinets are going to be, because that's going to tell us what the focus is. If we start seeing claw machines, we start seeing SpongeBob themed this or that, it's like, okay, well, here we go again, right? They're really aimed at children, kids, because they are a toy company.
I think certain people from Arcade1Up get blamed for a lot of things that probably had nothing to do with them. You know, I know it's not the popular thing to kind of defend Cyrus, but I'm not 100% sure everything bad that happened was necessarily his idea. Like, you know, I heard on Arcade Insiders one time them talking about Cyrus saying, oh, Qbert wouldn't sell it. It'd have to be a mashup cab. I don't agree with him there, but I don't think everything bad that happened was his fault, or, you know, some of the other staff members that went over there, like the sales guy. I just don't think that's fair. And I'm telling you right now, I'm not disagreeing with you, James. I think Qbert would sell more than Burger Time. You're not wrong there. I'm trying to be hopeful here. I'm hoping that, you know, this is the beginning of a new wave of this home arcade recreation stuff. A time for us to get excited again. Cool stuff may come out. I want to be positive, you know?
Well, and we can be positive and still acknowledge some of the concerns, and that's all I'm really doing at this point.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. No, it's funny to kind of pick at Cyrus, and that's all I've ever done. I haven't really been. I'm not intending to be mean spirited. I just like to pick at the guy. It's funny. But no, there's a lot of people over there that are making a lot of decisions, you know, that it just didn't come together. Some of these things that they really went all in on were just a giant waste of time and money, and they really should have just spread things out a little bit, focus on a couple different areas. But yeah, it's, you know, I want to be positive. I want to be hopeful. There's a lot of things we've been talking about for years that we would love to see. I talked about a an Afterburner cab last night. I mean, I thought I did. Pretty sure I did. Anyway, it had 4 games on it, and that's the kind of stuff where it's like Sega could be like the biggest win possible. They're working with My Arcade on some of their stuff, but if they could possibly lock down any Sega license, I think that would be a huge win for the entire community and for Basic Fun to go with something like an Afterburner cab. It would be something different. There's a couple things going on there. Obviously, it's Sega. We've seen very few Sega cabinets out there. And to have Afterburner, a flying game, a flight stick game, is something we haven't really seen before, I think, outside of Tron.
Yeah, it was a little hard to follow last night, but honestly, I loved your Sega piece because I do think Sega is such an important part of arcade history. Like, I will go to the remake side. I mean, I would love to see another Golden Axe cab. Like,
Yes.
Golden Axe was absolutely one of my favorite cabs. Love the artwork for Revenge of Death Adder. You've already got the blueprint there with the Arcade1Up Capcom Deluxe to actually just redo that one and make that an original Golden Axe cab. It would be so badass. But then you've got other Sega games that have never been released before. The idea Fox came up with for a flight cab was absolutely killer last night. I mean, Afterburner 2, G-Lock, maybe some of the new titles. The other thing I really like about what Basic Fun did with their early cabs, outside of Centipede, there's too much shit going on with Centipede. I think less is more.
Yes.
And I know not everybody will love that, but if you do a cab like Rampage or Final Fight, we can get back to what Arcade1Up originally was, you know, stick with like 5 or 6 games on the cab maybe, and really get those original controls in there. I know I've been saying this a long time, but I think there's a market for that. I think that people love that idea of Arcade1Up, and I don't think it was that much of a detriment with people saying, I want more games on this. I think that most of those people who said, I want more games on this, eventually found their way to multicades and don't give a shit about arcade recreations anymore. So, I mean, I think you're fine with like 4 or 5 games maximum. Like,
well, like you said, they
not
can
all
offer,
of them, but
but like you said, they can offer both. You can have your legacies, you can have your deluxes, you can have whatever you want to call them, be the one that has the 14 games on it. They're a little bit pricier, but for a little bit less, a little bit less, $50, maybe $100 less. I don't know how that would work out. Have your 3 or 4 or 5 games on your Rampage dedicated cabinet, or your Final Fight dedicated cabinet, or, you know, fill in the blank, whatever you want. I think that there could be a market for all of that.
We covered this last week, Satoshi Matrix, and I want to be clear about this. I understand what you're saying, that, well, the first wave were only $2.99, so it was okay to have less games. I'm openly telling you, with inflation, all the other things that come out, if it was still the same product, exact same product today, no changes, no light up marquee, shark fins, 4 games, the cabs would still be the price they are today. So I understand what you're saying about value. I don't necessarily equate value with number of games if it means that the cab is going to have stuff like the Centipede cab has, with a control stick over on the side that makes absolutely no sense. So, yeah, I'm sorry. I can't
or like a giant trackball on your Simpsons.
Trackball in the middle of Simpsons.
What the hell are we doing? Yeah.
Anyways, you guys, there's reason to be excited about remakes, and reasons why this company can tool up really fast because of the assets they bought from Arcade1Up. But you don't necessarily just want remakes. I mean, I think all of us would agree what this hobby needs, the absolute kick in the ass this hobby needs. And one thing that Basic Fun did very smartly right out of the gate, unfortunately, because of the licensing restrictions, it didn't work out like it should. One of the things that made it so goddamn exciting for Basic Fun to get off the ground was the fact they were coming with a new title, something never seen before in the home arcade community, WrestleFest. Unfortunately, the licensing shit didn't work out, but the fact that there was a new title made everybody excited. It made people excited about the brand. It made people excited about home arcade again. So let's talk about new games. And a lot of people, not me, are going to be excited about the game that I picked here. I put the Narc. I would love to see Narc cab. I had some people being negative about it, but I know everybody wants a Smash TV cab. You think the art is better on Smash TV. It makes more sense where it has 2 players as opposed to Robotron. I personally want a Robotron. I'm actually going to build my own. I'm not waiting for any of these companies anymore. I got a 19-inch Unico monitor coming. I'm building my own Robotron. I don't give a shit. So anyways, Smash TV is one example. Here's why new games are so important, but here's why new games are difficult. So keep this in mind. Most fans are tired of the current library. That's the current library. I still think there's a lot of room there to go back and make some cabs people miss, like a Tron Deluxe, Dragon's Lair Deluxe. We talked about Burger Time. There's lots of room there to do cool stuff. But if your plan is just to do Fast and the Furious, Mortal Kombat, Pac-Man, Class of 81, it's going to be another couple very cold and dark years in the home arcade space. Wouldn't you agree?
I agree. You're going to have some people that are salivating for a Tron XL, which a lot of people absolutely would jump on that, but not everybody's going to be as equally excited as about, another Fast and Furious, done the same way, emulated the same way, even if you change the size of the cab. So all titles aren't going to hit exactly the same. So I think that they need to be selective when they do remakes, but new games, it's going to be hard for them to disappoint if they do the cabinet justice and they go with a title that people are actually asking for. And there's a lot of them out there, a lot of titles that are being asked for.
Yeah. So Stock Jock, I'm with you. Like, I'm the weirdest Arcade1Up owner in the entire world. I only play the title games on the cab. Like, that's the only thing I'll throw on. It's the only thing I really care about. I really don't give a shit how many games are on the cab. So I'm not your typical user. So I'm with you on that one. I really want a Robotron. And if they make a Robotron, I'll be a day one buyer. But I understand that the majority of the community, not just me and you, and we have options through G.I. Joel or making our own. The majority of the community have been very hard on me saying they want Smash TV, and I get it. So like a Smash TV cab would make a lot of sense. Now, the next one up, the other thing about new games is it creates excitement. And, Satoshi asks, what does WOM mean? Word of mouth. Like, one of the best things these companies can have going for them is when they don't have to market anything, when just the thought, just the concept, just the leak of a cab coming out creates so much action online and on Facebook and on Reddit. It gets around and gets covered with stuff when word of mouth builds because of excitement. And that's what new games do. If Arcade Classics comes out tomorrow and says, yeah, we're releasing Pac-Man, that's just another drop in the bucket. No one's going to say anything. But if Basic Fun, Arcade1Up, or Arcade Classics come out tomorrow and say, we're doing Smash TV, this community will go batshit crazy. The same way they did when we found out they were doing WrestleFest, right?
Yes. No, 100%. 100%. It's a combination of a bunch of things. It's a game that people have been asking for. It's something different, which is always good. And it's not that hard to do. I mean, it's just a couple sticks, right? It's not going to be super complicated. And I think that the game is pretty easy to emulate as well. You throw Total Carnage on there, you throw Robotron on there, there's your trifecta. I mean, we already had Eugene Jarvis talk about this. He already said he wanted to do it, on camera, on an interview. So I think there's buy-in from multiple different ways.
See, Thorcade, like, this is what I keep getting from people. Robotron is better. Yes, Robotron is definitively the better game and has better artwork and it's just like an arcade staple. But most people want two-player. I get it. I don't want a Robotron with two-player cab. I'd rather, that. And then I'll just get my own Robotron, build it, or do a G.I. Joel cab, whatever. There's some drawbacks, though, because like this is one of the reasons Arcade1Up, who were in the position they were in, they had a cash flow shortage the last couple of years. There's stuff that's associated with it. Obviously, research and development costs because you have to, emulate new games, especially Arcade1Up with their online infrastructure. There was so much involved there with the research and development. That's why they didn't do it. Then you also, you get the emulation depending on who it works with. I mean, most of this stuff should be rocket science. You pay for a commercial emulator and then you just take the base ROM and stick it on, but we're not there anymore for some reason. So, then you go from there. You've got the cab design, the tooling of the cab, and I really can't remember what it's called, but there's like a mold, and it might just be a CNC design, but a mold for how it's done. They've got to put that together. Then they got to get the artwork and stuff like that. So there is drawbacks. That's why you probably, in my opinion, you won't see as many new games as you will see remakes coming from this company. We'll see. And then the question with new games, which is always tough, will retailers, consumers buy? We've seen lots of prototypes from Arcade1Up, and we're like, man, they're so stupid they didn't release that. It wasn't anything to do with, you know, John D or Cyrus or Scott Bacharach or David McIntosh or anybody saying, yeah, let's just not bring that one out. At the end of the day, the reason most of these cabs never came out, and I know for a fact, the Double Dragon 2 cab, the reason it never came out is because they went around to retailers and the retailers were like, yeah, we don't think it would sell. Now, there was a back end too where John D also didn't want to do it because iArcade already had a Double Dragon cab out and was kind of pissed off about that. But mainly it was because the retailers just weren't there to buy it in the, you know, the demand wasn't there from the retailers to actually get to the X marks the spot mark to actually do the production run.
Yeah, you got to hit that sweet spot to get the retailers involved. I don't even know what all you have to do, the hoops you got to jump through. At the end of the day, you're asking them to spend money on this thing you just made. I mean, you're asking them to buy it directly, and then they'll resell it to us. But that's what you're doing. So it's got to be attractive to them. I would love to see, you know, some direct to consumer stuff happen. I don't even know if that's feasible, but it would be great, if nothing else, to see this. And we've seen it, this new reconnecting with the community, with Basic Fun taking over Arcade1Up's Facebook group and all that, to have polls,
and their YouTube. They were here tonight, don't forget.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. So that
was nice.
All good things, all good things. And, you know, just listen to the feedback, good and bad. You know, some of it's going to be constructive, some of it's going to be destructive. You just got to be wise enough to tell the difference, and then ask a ton of questions. Put up as many polls, spitball ideas. That's going to be the best way that you can get us excited and engaged.
Now, the last comment here is kind of a warning for Basic Fun. And, you know, it's easy to take the easy way where you already have these titles, you have the designs, you can just keep doing the remakes. And Arcade1Up showed a path where they could be survive with very minimum costs and expense towards new titles. But there's a reality to what they did. I mean, let's be honest. It almost killed the whole hobby the last 2 years of Arcade1Up. And, you know, there's lots of other people out there and said, we'll be fine. There's multicades, yada, yada, yada. I don't think people really understand the way this retail industry works, that for the last like 5 to 7 years, everything that happens here only grew because of Arcade1Up. And if it wasn't for the success and excitement of Arcade1Up, these other things on the side wouldn't have been successful either. So, in my opinion, if there's not new titles and if there's not an ability for growth and new games and excitement, the industry will continue to do what it's done for the last 2 years, which is realistically stagnate. That's my opinion.
No, I agree. It's funny. We're telling them to do basically not two different things, but we're looking at it, I think, from both sides, right? We acknowledge you're taking all the risk by coming up with something, any product, and then trying to get retailers to buy it and all that stuff. So you're footing the whole bill. We just want to sit here and point out this is what we want. So yes, acknowledge the fact that it is going to be tempting to go with something that's a little bit less risky, but at the same time, you've got to do something different, or it's going to not only just stagnate, but people are just going to, I think, lose interest.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if you're catering to the core audience that is excited about these products, and you just keep re-releasing cabinets that they already own, but they're slightly different, there's just nothing there. There's no meat on the bone. So you got to come up with something new. You got to come up with something different. Be calculated. You know, you don't have to go crazy or insane, but try to come up with a good, solid design of a reasonably simple, arcade layout, and go for it. Just go for it and do a limited run or do some direct to consumer or do whatever you can. Mitigate as much risk as possible, but you got to do something new.
Got to. Yep. And guys, we're almost ready to wrap it up. So I'm going to take that down. And Fox, I'm just really excited, and I'm really hopeful that New York Toy Fair is going to be a time where we get shown a path forward that is much more exciting than what we've been looking at for the last couple of years. I want products to come out like someone just mentioned, a Defender cab. Like if they came out with a Defender cab with the right shape, with the right artwork, with the right control panel, I would be a day one buyer. They've already done Defender, unfortunately with Mortal Kombat controls, but I would buy Defender. Like there is hope. Like I'm not the kind of person where I'm like, I'm done with these, home arcades. I was never done with the home arcades. It's just, you know, me and you both had the same thing. We got a bad rap. We were told there was XLs coming out.
Yeah.
We said, we had the same conversation. Me and you did. I remember going to Toys R Us one day, and I was like, man, I'm going to sell all my Arcade1Ups because I'm going to replace everything with deluxe. And you were like, yeah, I'm thinking about doing it too.
Yeah.
And then a little bit later, we were like, man, I'm going to sell all my Arcade1Ups because I'm going to replace everything with XL. And you were like, I am too.
Yeah.
And then nothing came out.
Nothing happened. It was a total letdown. Oh God. But
So
you know, I think, but don't you think that's just sort of the natural progression of the hobby? Like, we accepted a shark fin for $2.99 because it was the only thing that ever came out. And then as it went forward, things did get better. I mean, I know there's haters out there that just hate everything that came out. I get it. But you have to acknowledge the product did improve. It didn't change as far as the construction vastly. You're still going to get the half-inch MDF and all that, but shapes got better, more games got included, more control layouts, features, coin doors, all these things got added. Things did get better. Marquees got sharper and crisper and all this stuff. It took time, but it did get better. So basic fun / Arcade1Up. Take that ball and just run with it. Continue to innovate and improve. You know, take some existing stuff, sure, but continue to innovate. Continue to make it better. Prices, that's going to be something, to your point. I mean, it's inflation, right? I mean, there's only going to be so much they can do about the price. So make it worth it to the consumer.
Get a $5 super chat here from our buddy B Kirby, the Chicago arcade guy. That sounded like you last night. Basic fun, redo some older cabs in deluxe and XL form factors, sprinkle in some new titles. That's the right path forward. I think so too. Fox, I put a poll up earlier tonight that I want to bring up again. I'm going to.
Are you going to read yours? Because I didn't.
I'm going to read mine. I'm going to try to read it correctly.
Oh, okay. Good
you
job.
read yours last night. You don't remember reading it because you did.
Nope, I do not remember reading the poll.
You sure did.
Oh my God.
Also, Mike of all trades. That was one of the things that I almost regretted not, because we all know AJ Styles is losing the gun through at the Rumble. So he just had that amazing match with Nakamura where they didn't make Nakamura wear the pajamas. It was great. And tonight he gets to wrestle CM Punk for the first time. So I love it. I also absolutely love this comment. Thank you so much for being here and watching the show tonight. This means the world to me, guys. Arcade1Up official. You guys are really going to like Toy Fair. That makes me a very, very happy man. Thank you so very much for being here, especially for saying that, man. That's the hope I wanted to see. $2 super chat.
That's a big thing. That's a big thing being here. I also, it's not my show. I appreciate them being here too, because that interaction is exactly what we're looking for. And we're pumped, man. We want you guys to succeed.
100%. You know, we're heard, but there's a very specific reason for that. It's because we want you guys to be awesome. We care. If we didn't care, we just wouldn't talk about it. Josh Dandy, $2 super chat. We crave better, more durable controls. I will say this about the controls. Like, you know, in some instances, I 100% agree, but there's a level like that I think people just are a little bit unrealistic on. Like people who want competition and like commercial grade controls, I don't think we're ever going to get that. What we are getting right now is Sandlot clones, and they're of the lowered quality. I don't know how much more expensive it would be, and I've said this a million times, but I'll say it again. If they could look at, you know, if it's not too expensive overall, trying to at least get same level of controls that are in like the At Games Legends Ultimate, which are actually really good. Like just a slight increase would mean the world to a lot of people. So I don't think you can do commercial. I don't think we'll ever be there, but
no,
you can upgrade slightly. There is better versions of what you're putting in your cabs that shouldn't be too much more expensive. So the poll, I got distracted there. So what game should Basic Fun focus on delivering for Arcade1Up and Arcade Classics in 2026? Coming in last place at 6%. I'm not interested in either. Probably multicade fans, so it doesn't really matter. Then you got remakes of Arcade1Up release games, just remakes, came in at 7%. So I don't think that should be the focus. But then you get into number 2, which for a long time was actually leading the poll, 38% a mix of old and new games. So a combination of stuff we've seen in the past, not necessarily stuff we've seen in the super recent past, but stuff we've seen in the past from Arcade1Up, plus a couple new games coming in at 38%. And of course, what the hardcore community is the most hungry for, coming in number one, no surprise, at 49%. New games not released by Arcade1Up. Throw a couple titles out there. You know, you've got the Road Blasters, you've got Spy Hunter, you've got Afterburner, Golden Games.
There's just a lot of them. There's just things.
So much.
So much out there that people would be absolutely jazzed and excited for. We've done, I know you do it all the time. I've done it on my show, talking about what we want, asking the community what do they want. There's a ton of stuff out there. So lots to be excited about. Yeah, I'm jazzed for Toy Fair now for sure.
And everybody wants Sega. I think we've made that clear. Everybody wants Sega.
I know it's a big ask, but Sega would print you money.
Thanks again, Josh. If I didn't mention it, greatly appreciated. Sorry, I was so hard on the control thing. It's just I'm always worried that people's expectations are, you know, when they say we want better controls, they're like, we want better wood too. I want inch-thick plywood. I want the thing to weigh like 600 pounds.
It's a compromise machine. What do you want to do? What do you feel like it's okay? You know, I can let them slide on controls because they're so easily replaceable. You know, I don't know. Everybody's a little different though.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, I think another thing, Arcade1Up being here saying that stuff, everybody's going to be rabid over the Toy Fair coverage. I know Mike Valtrades is saying, like, big toy guy himself, like James hates everything. Now all of a sudden that shifts to what is basic fun and Arcade1Up doing, right?
Right. No, it's exciting. It's exciting. You know, you get it. You know, it's not just blind optimism. I think that there's a track record that they've already sort of established. I mean, they rolled out some cabs pretty quick. Not perfect, had some flaws, sure, but nothing that they can't just improve upon.
No, I would not burn a review Smash TV cab. Do I want Robotron more? Yes. Would not burn it. No.
No, don't burn it. I'll buy it.
Satoshi, it's Valentine's Day, the day of love. And what Arcade1Up told us tonight is you're going to fall in love with these new games they're going to show off at Toy Fair.
It's a hell of a segue.
Man, Tapper. Like, this is what I think this community and me personally have been missing for a long time. I keep making videos about it because I'm an asshole, but like I talk about what I love so much about this. It's the hope. You know what I mean? The hope.
No, 100%,
wondering like, could they make this? Like seeing like someone say Tapper and being like, there's a possibility. Like you look at me like 2 years ago, even when like they were making Time Crisis and very few cabs. Like if someone said to me Tapper, I'd be like, there's no chance. There's no chance anything like that would ever happen.
Yeah.
But now it feels like we're in a new world, in a new era or time period where maybe I'm wrong and maybe like it'll never happen, but
you're telling me there's a chance.
But you're telling me there's a chance. All right, guys. Well, I don't want to keep you too long. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. It's been a fun show. Fox, I'm so glad you're not still inebriated.
I'm not dead.
You're not dead.
Not dead. I'm fine.
I gotta say huge thanks to Fox too. Like I begged him to come on just for even a cameo to talk about a show last night, but he managed to stick through the whole show. So greatly appreciated, Fox.
No, Mike, it's always fun. I'll always have a blast on your show, bud.
I won't try to overburden you. I already got you for Super Game Room Dudes last Friday. Now you got to come to my daughter's bar mitzvah.
You just have to. You just have to be, aware that I may or may not be intoxicated. So
that's true. That's true. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. Everybody enjoy the rest of your Monday night. Hopefully I'll get some stuff done this week. We'll see you Super Game Room Dudes Friday. And man, oh man, am I excited about Toy Fair now. Holy shit.
It's going to be awesome.
All right. Night, guys. Nooner, late super chat. I would have left, but I didn't want to miss this $10 super chat from Nooner. Hoping for some good titles and go Hawks. I'm with you, man. This is the first year where I'm like, I hope the Seattle Seahawks take it all. So
Go Hawks.
thanks very much, Nooner. Go Hawks. Good night, everybody.
Later.